course it's on for Arsenal. They're 3 points behind Liverpool, who have games in hand as things stand, but who play tomorrow, as do Chelsea. At the moment, Arsenal on 33 points. The Opta supercomputer, and as Mikel Arteta said, we're not even halfway through the season, nearly, but not quite halfway through the season yet, have Arsenal with a 13.2% chance. And even though they're behind Chelsea, they have a better chance of lifting the Premier League trophy come the end of the season than Chelsea do. Well, what do you think, Paul? What needs to happen for Arsenal to do it?
Well, that 5.8% needs to be bigger. Whatever happens, that does need to be bigger. That's ridiculous. Arsenal need consistency. They need consistency. You know, as Mikel Arteta said, they've drawn their last two games. Drawing at home to Everton, you know, the chances they've got to win them games. They've got to be more ruthless. They've got to put these teams away, you know. So being consistent, but they're right in there. You know, I'm one of them. It's to forget the two games in hand. You know, if I was Liverpool, I'd forget about the two games in hand. You just want to keep on playing. You know, you don't want to keep on playing and go, right, we've got one game in hand, if we, you know, just in case, because that comes around. And before that comes around, you need that just to be 1 point behind or just go level. So for me, I look at the league like it is now. Arsenal, they're in it. They're in it. But I'd definitely be having Chelsea at more than 5.8%.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Is the difference because Arsenal have been sort of inconsistent across the season, whereas Chelsea didn't start maybe as well as Arsenal did, but they've improved as the season has gone on. Is that the difference?
Well, the thing with Chelsea is they've got no distractions. They are not in Europe. They've got another team for European football. They're not in the Carabao Cup.
Well, they're in Europe, but not in the Champions League.
They've got another team.
Cole Palmer doesn't play in it, does he?
None of them playing it, hardly. And I was there on Thursday night. Cucurella played. He's probably the only one who plays at Everton this weekend. So they've got an unbelievable squad. They haven't got two-legged Carabao Cup games in January and February. You know, we just see the Arsenal fixtures and you're like, oh, the Newcastle probably would be a little bit happy. Chelsea are in this 100%. But Arsenal are probably 13 and Chelsea are 5 because they haven't been in this position.
No. But Arsenal as well, Paul, I think, where they've been the team that's been caught and been chased by Manchester City. Now, we look where Man City are in 6th. You've got to rule them out of the equation. 3 teams with a relative inexperience of winning titles because of what over the last few years, that is. Obviously, Liverpool won one under Jurgen Klopp. But they're going to work on the basis that Liverpool will drop points. It's not going to be a Manchester City where they're going to go 15, 16 games unbeaten. That's going to be so hard to do. So Arsenal have to be...
And the Opta computer just will be looking at previous results as well. So because Chelsea have improved so much, they won't have the history of results that they'll be looking at when they look at Arsenal's
Absolutely, and Liverpool,
results.
Of course, they're the team right now that's in great form, but we all know how quickly form can disappear. You know, they've actually been brilliant because they've done it with a few injuries as well. But what Liverpool have got that I think Arsenal still need, and if they can do it in January, I think they'll give them even more chance, is that they can bring, and when everybody's fit, and I'm talking about Jota and players like that, so many people that can come off the bench to make a difference, make an impact. Arsenal are just short in that area. I think, and I'm not saying that Jesus is going to be interested in how they sort of utilise him in games. He's got a big part to play. But I still think they need another striker or another forward player, someone that can come in off the wide just to add some goals and a bit of experience to what they need, a bit of just to bolster that forward and that forward line. Because at times it does feel like if Saka's going to be out for however long, have they got someone that can fill that void? So I think they may be short of just 1 or 2 players still.
And Paul, you talked about the importance of what comes next in terms of the fixtures, because they've got Champions League and they've got games to come up in the Carabao Cup as well. They've got FA Cup ties in there. And what's interesting about this run of fixtures, as Jamie said, is that we don't know. Saka went off injured today, and as Mikel Arteta said, we need to wait and see. He's never missed more than 2 consecutive games for Arsenal in the 5 years since he's been established Arsenal starter. So potentially they're going to have to get through some of this run of fixtures without him. Yeah,
very much so. And you look at probably the Man United game in the FA Cup where they'll probably go, you know what, that's the game we'll probably have to sacrifice. I don't think you can go through them games, you know, Brighton away, then Newcastle. If you've got to the semi-final of the Carabao Cup, you might as well keep on going, you know, if you get that far. The Man United game, then for me, is a no-go in the FA Cup, and then they play Tottenham. So I think if you're a Man United fan, you're looking at that game thinking, we might have had a result here with these fixtures. And then they got some hard fixtures, but, you know, 5 home games on the trot. Very rare someone whips up 5 away wins on the trot at home. So it'll be how they look after the players. but I haven't seen Mikel Arteta that happy for a long time.
He looked very relaxed.
But he would also be, there'll be an element of, he'll be praying that once that MRI scan comes through and how is Bukayo Saka, because he knows if they are to win the league, they're going to need him. He's so important. He's their talisman. He's their best player. And you don't want to be without him for too many games. You know, January the 15th, Tottenham at home, it's the sort of game when you need him. He comes up, he turns up in the big games. But they have got fixtures that you look at. But I honestly think this season is going to be one of them where teams are going to drop points. It's becoming harder and harder. Look at Nottingham Forest this season, how well they've done. It's so hard to win games. You've got to earn every single point you get. And that's why I think this is going to go right to the wire. We look at everybody's fixtures. Liverpool got quite a tough run in. Arsenal's run in is not too bad as well. I think Chelsea, obviously. So it's going to be a really difficult one to predict. And we're trying to say right now, well, they're out of it. And we're not even halfway through the season. There's going to be so many twists and turns still.
There are going to be so many twists and turns. But across the last 5 years, we talked about the consistency in terms of appearances for Bukayo Saka, the consistency in terms of importance as well over Mikel Arteta's 5 years. We marked the anniversary yesterday. How do you assess those 5 years, Paul?
Absolutely brilliant. In my opinion, outstanding. I think his timings in football, second, he's come against one of the greatest teams ever to play football, in my opinion. His timings. You don't think the last 5 heavyweight champions of the world would have been world champions if Mike Tyson was around in his pomp? They wouldn't have been. His timings. Colin Montgomery would have been an Open champion if it weren't for Tiger Woods being around. It's timings. He's been bang unlucky.
You like Tiger Woods tonight, didn't you?
Yeah, he's the best of the best. So we're talking the best.
But then maybe the question is, when you talk about Colin Montgomery, famously best player never to win a major, could this Arsenal team be? I mean, I know there is a trophy in there, but if they don't win a Premier League title, is there an...
It could do, but, they've come up against a juggernaut in Man City. They'll be disappointed if they don't win it this season and Man City are where they are at the moment. Then I think they'll be disappointed. And I think the spotlight will be on them because it'll be, wait there a minute. Man City didn't turn up, haven't turned up so far this season with their form. So, yeah, at the moment, as we talk today, I think he's done an outstanding job. Right. 8th. Arsenal were also runners. They were just also runners. They were a team that started the Premier League, had no chance of winning it. Now they become a team that have a chance of winning the Premier League when they're in it.
I remember losing the Monday Night Football at Brentford. And everyone was like, not sure how long he's going to last. He was under severe pressure. He had the Lacazette and the Aubameyang situation. He won that battle. The club backed him. Now they back him in every respect. And you can see that 8th, 5th, 2nd. And they've been so unlucky, as Paul says. But this year, if they weren't to do it, it would feel like the big miss because this is the opportunity. This was the one. I fancied them really strongly at the start of the season. I think at times they've got in their own way with a little bit of ill discipline, getting men sent off at the wrong times. A couple of injuries have missed.
So I just wonder if you can say that about sometimes the end of the season when they've been up against Manchester City, because at the end of each season there's been that little run of games. It was only a couple last season, maybe a little bit longer the season before, where it felt like it just went away for them.
It was that one game,
is that
wasn't it,
the
last
question mark
season
you would point to them?
Against
Aston
Villa.
We were doing the game.
We were doing the game. That was the game. They had a couple of chances first half, and then as the game went on, only one team looked like they were going to win it. 1.95 over 5 years. It's some going. That's a consistent...
Yeah.
I think he's done great.
Can I ask you a question? Do you think they might enjoy, because now they're going to have to chase, do you think they might enjoy that bit of pressure off them? Because rather than sort of looking over your shoulder thinking every week Man City keep winning, do you think it might help them a little bit?
I'm a great believer. I always want it in my hands. Even when we won the league in '89 at Liverpool, we were miles in front and they caught us up. But I'd always rather be in front. I got to sit there now tomorrow. You got to sit there and, if you're an Arsenal fan, and go, I hope Chelsea and Liverpool get beat. And if they don't, it's another game goes by. And for me, I know Jamie's saying there's going to be a lot of twists and turns, but there might not be. This Liverpool team at the moment have done nothing wrong, and if they go to Tottenham and win at Tottenham, you think there's another game gone, and they soon go. And the gulf in this league now is getting bigger, in my opinion. I think the lesser teams are there to be beaten. I don't see them beating Liverpool. So if Liverpool can stay consistent with the bottom 12 or 13 teams in the Premier League, I think it's going to be hard.
Liverpool have been extraordinary.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about them tomorrow. But what Slot's gone in there and done straight away and got the team playing in the fashion they have. You know, it's been extraordinary, but you just never know. You know,
especially with Tottenham up as their next opponent.
Well, that's going to be like tomorrow's going to be it's going to be a basketball match. You know, anything could happen tomorrow. So, but you still think, and you look at with Tottenham's injuries, that it will be a big opportunity for Liverpool tomorrow.
Yeah.